My name is Alice. I'm 30 years old, and for 2 years, my family acted like I was dead. I moved, started a new life, and not a single person reached out. But when a photo of my house went online, suddenly they bought plane tickets. Not to see me, but to demand I sell my home to pay my sister's $42,000 debt. They had no idea the house they planned to take was a $10 million villa, already locked inside a trust they can never touch. Before I tell you what happened when my stepmom walked inside and froze, hit like, subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from. You know what it feels like to be invisible? Not ignored once in a while. Not overlooked during a busy week. I mean truly invisible. Like you could scream at the top of your lungs in the middle of the living room, and no one would even glance up from their phone. That was my life for 18 years. My stepmom moved in when I was 7. My dad remarried fast after my mom passed, and I think he was just desperate not to be alone. He needed someone to fill the void, and she was there. Smiling. Agreeable. Perfect on paper. But the second those wedding photos were framed and hung on the wall, everything changed. She didn't hit me. She didn't scream. She didn't lock me in closets or starve me. No, it was so much quieter than that. So much more effective. She erased me without ever raising her voice. My sister, her biological daughter, was the sun. Everyone orbited around her. She got new clothes every season. She got piano lessons, dance classes, a car on her 16th birthday. She got good morning and how was your day and we're so proud of you. I got a list. Every single morning, there'd be a list on the kitchen counter, written in my stepmom's perfect looping handwriting. Alice's responsibilities. Like I was the house manager. Like I was hired help. Make breakfast. Pack lunches. Drop your sister at school. Pick her up. Start the laundry. Vacuum the living room. Prep dinner. Do the dishes. Help with homework. Pay the water bill. Call the plumber. Pick up the dry cleaning. I was 14 when I started doing the grocery shopping alone. 15 when I was handling the utility bills. By 16, I was the one making sure my sister got to her SAT prep on time, while I took the bus to my own school an hour early because no one was driving me. And my dad? He said nothing. He sat in his recliner every night, eyes on the TV, pretending not to notice. I used to think he was just tired. Now I know he was a coward. I remember one time, I think I was 17, I got accepted into a summer art program. Full scholarship. It was competitive. I was so excited. I printed the acceptance letter and brought it to the dinner table, hands shaking. I said, I got in. My stepmom looked at me for maybe 2 seconds. Then she looked at my dad and said, she can't go. Who's going to watch Emily? That was it. That was the whole conversation. My sister didn't even look up from her phone. I never went. There was no fight. No argument. I just folded the letter, went upstairs, and cried into my pillow until I couldn't breathe. And you want to know the worst part? I kept hoping. I kept thinking, maybe next time. Maybe if I work harder. Maybe if I'm better, they'll see me. But they never did. I was the ghost in my own family. The unpaid servant. The placeholder daughter. And the day I finally left, not one person asked where I was going. I graduated college on a Tuesday. My stepmom didn't come. My dad didn't come. My sister was busy. I sat in that auditorium in my cap and gown, watching families hug and cry and take 1,000 pictures, and I felt nothing. Just empty. 2 weeks later, I got a job offer in another city. Good salary. Real opportunity. The kind of thing people celebrate. I didn't tell them until the day before I left. I packed everything I owned into my car, which wasn't much because I'd been buying my own things since I was 16, and I went downstairs one last time. My stepmom was making coffee. My sister was on the couch. My dad was reading the paper. I said, I'm leaving tomorrow. I got a job in Portland. My stepmom looked at me like I'd just told her I was switching laundry detergents. She said, okay. Who's going to take Emily to her dermatologist appointment on Thursday? That was it. Not congratulations. Not we'll miss you. Not even are you sure? Just who's replacing you. I stood there for a second, waiting for something. Anything. A hug. A handshake. A good luck. Nothing. So I left. I drove 6 hours to my new apartment, unloaded my boxes, and sat on the floor of my empty living room staring at my phone. I texted my dad. Made it safe. New place is small but nice. Delivered. Read. No response. I texted my sister. Hey, I'm all moved in. Let me know if you ever want to visit. Delivered. Read. No response. I waited 3 days. Then a week. Then 2 weeks. I called my dad. It rang 4 times and went to voicemail. I called again the next day. Same thing. I sent a message in the family group chat my stepmom had made years ago, the one I was only added to so they could send me errand requests. I wrote, "Miss you guys. Hope everyone's doing okay." Delivered. No one replied. Not that day. Not that week. Not ever. It was like I died. Like I'd vanished into thin air and nobody even noticed the space I used to take up. And that's when it hit me. I didn't leave my family. I escaped. I wasn't their daughter. I wasn't their sister. I was free labor. I was the help. And the second I stopped being useful, I stopped existing. That first month was the hardest. I'd come home from work and sit in the silence of my apartment, and I'd feel this ache in my chest. Not because I missed them, but because I'd spent 22 years trying to earn love from people who were never going to give it. But slowly, things started to change. I made friends at work. Real friends. The kind who actually texted back. Who invited me to dinner. Who remembered my birthday. I started going to the gym. I started therapy. I started sleeping through the night without waking up in a panic thinking I forgot to do someone's laundry. I got a promotion 6 months in. Then another one a year later. I started to like who I was becoming. Strong. Independent. Free. And then came the house, the one that changed everything. I worked my ass off for 3 years. 70-hour weeks. Skipped vacations. Lived below my means. I wanted security. I wanted to prove to myself that I could build something they'd never be able to take from me. By the time I turned 28, I had a 6-figure salary, a growing investment portfolio, and a reputation in my industry that opened doors. One of those doors led to a private real estate opportunity. A colleague knew someone selling a piece of land, oceanfront, private, untouched. The kind of property people dream about but never actually get. I bought it. Then I hired an architecture firm. I told them exactly what I wanted. Clean lines, glass walls, open spaces, light, air, peace. It took a year and a half to build. And when it was finished, I stood in the entryway and cried. Not sad tears. Not angry tears. Relief. This was mine. No one could guilt me out of it. No one could take it. No one could tell me I didn't deserve it. I met with a lawyer before I even moved in. I told him everything. My family, the neglect, the years of being used. I said, I don't ever want them to be able to touch this. He drew up a trust. Iron clean. If anyone sued me, the house stayed protected. If anyone tried to force me to sell it, the trust blocked them. If I died, it went to a charity of my choice, not to them. I signed every page with the most satisfying pen strokes of my life. For the first time ever, I felt safe. I moved in on a Saturday. I spent the whole day just walking through the rooms, touching the walls, sitting on the floor in the sunlight. I took a photo in the living room. Just me, barefoot, in a sundress, smiling. The ocean visible through the window behind me. I posted it on Instagram. No caption. Just the photo. I didn't think twice about it. That photo was the match that lit the fire. Because 2 days later, my phone started ringing. It started with a text from my sister. Wow. Nice place. I stared at it for a full minute. It was the first thing she'd said to me in 2 years. Then my stepmom called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. Finally, I answered. She didn't say hello. She said, Alice. We saw your post. That's a beautiful home. Her voice was syrup. Fake. Dripping with something that made my skin crawl. I said, thanks. She laughed this high, nervous laugh. We'd just been so worried about you. You haven't called. We didn't know how you were doing. I almost laughed. 2 years of silence, and now she's worried? I said, I'm fine. Well, she said, we'd love to come visit. See the place. Catch up. I didn't respond. She kept talking. Your sister's been asking about you. Your dad misses you. We all do. Lies. Every word. Before I could say anything, she said, we booked tickets. We'll be there Saturday. Not, can we visit? Not, is that okay? Just, we're coming. I hung up. Saturday came. I didn't clean. I didn't cook. I didn't prep. I just waited. The doorbell rang at noon. I opened the door, and there they were. My stepmom in a blazer like she was attending a business meeting. My sister with her phone already out recording. My dad standing behind them, looking smaller than I remembered. My stepmom's eyes went wide the second she stepped inside. She froze in the entryway, staring up at the vaulted ceilings, the floating staircase, the wall of windows overlooking the ocean. My sister was already walking through the house like it was a museum, filming everything. Oh my God, she said. This is insane. How much did this cost? I didn't answer. My stepmom touched the marble countertop in the kitchen, running her fingers along it like she was appraising it. She smiled at me. Alice, this is incredible. You've done so well. I closed the front door behind them, and I locked it. That's when the power shifted. We sat in the living room, them on one couch, me on the other. My stepmom folded her hands in her lap like she was about to deliver a sermon. Alice, she said, we're so proud of you. I said nothing. You've built something really special here. And we're family. We should have stayed in touch. That's on us. My sister nodded, eyes still on her phone. My dad looked at the floor. My stepmom leaned forward. But family helps family. And right now we need help. There it was. She took a breath. Your sister made some mistakes. She got into some credit card debt. It's not her fault. She was young. She didn't understand interest rates. But now she owes $42,000 and the collections agency is threatening legal action. I looked at my sister. She wouldn't meet my eyes. My stepmom kept going. We've tried everything. We can't get a loan. Your father's retirement is tied up. We don't have the cash. She paused. Then she said it. But you do. I felt my jaw tighten. We were thinking, she said, you could sell this place. Or take out a loan against it. Just enough to cover Emily's debt. You'd still have plenty left over. And it would save her future. My sister finally looked up. Please, Alice. I'm drowning. My stepmom's voice got softer. Sharper. You've been gone for 2 years. You left us. You didn't call. You didn't visit. And now you're living in this mansion while your sister is suffering. Don't you think you owe us something? I let the silence stretch. Then I smiled. This villa, I said, is worth $10 million. Their faces changed. My stepmom blinked. What? 10 million, I repeated. Custom build. Oceanfront. Architect designed. It appraised last month. My sister's mouth fell open. I leaned back. And it's locked in a trust. My stepmom's smile flickered. What does that mean? It means, I said slowly, that I can't sell it. I can't take a loan against it. And if anyone tries to sue me or force me to liquidate it, the trust protects it. Completely. The room went silent. My stepmom's face went pale, then red. You're lying. I'm not. She stood up. You can't do this. We're your family. No, I said. You're not. My sister started crying. Fake, loud sobs. You're really going to let me lose everything? I looked at her. Really looked at her. You didn't lose anything. You spent money you didn't have. That's not my responsibility. My stepmom's voice turned vicious. You ungrateful little. Get out, I said. She froze. Get out of my house. If you think they apologized after hearing that, subscribe. You'll want to hear what happened next. I stood up and walked to the front door. I opened it wide. Leave. My stepmom didn't move. She was shaking. You can't do this. After everything we did for you. I laughed. Actually laughed. Everything you did for me? You mean the 18 years I spent raising your daughter? Cleaning your house? Paying your bills? The 2 years you pretended I didn't exist? Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. I looked at my dad. He still hadn't said a word. Do you have anything to say? I asked him. He looked up. His eyes were wet. Alice, please. That one word broke something in me. Not in a sad way. In a final way. You let her erase me, I said. You watched her treat me like a servant, and you said nothing. You didn't protect me. You didn't love me. You just let it happen. He looked away. I turned to my sister. She was wiping her eyes with the back of her hand, mascara streaking. Your debt, I said, is not my problem. You want someone to bail you out? Ask them. I pointed at our stepmom. She's the one who taught you the world owed you something. My sister's face twisted. I hate you. Good, I said. At least that's honest. My stepmom tried one last time. Her voice dropped, dripping with venom. You're going to regret this. When you're old and alone, and you have no one, you'll remember this moment. I stepped closer. Close enough that she could see I wasn't scared anymore. I'd rather be alone, I said, than spend one more second being used by people who never loved me. She flinched. I gestured to the door. Get out. Now. My sister stormed out first, still crying. My stepmom followed, heels clicking on the marble. My dad stopped in the doorway. He looked back at me, and for a second, I thought he might apologize. But he didn't. He just left. I watched them walk down the driveway, past the fountain, through the gate. I watched the car pull away, and I closed the door. I locked it, and I stood there in the silence of my home, my safe, beautiful, untouchable home, and I exhaled. I didn't lose a family that day. I just finally saw who they really were, and I let them go. If you've ever had to walk away from toxic families, subscribe. Still not subscribing? Then tell me in the comments why.